Hey guys, this week we are talking about a recent Wynn Las Vegas trip, fast pay for slots, listener questions, and more, so stick around. This episode is sponsored by Verizon Wireless. New and existing customers can get the new iPhone 16 Pro for free. Visit Verizon.com to learn more. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome to the Crap Vegas podcast.
Vegas, here we come.
Vegas!
Here are your hosts, Chris and Josh.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 65 of the Crap Vegas podcast. I am Chris. He's Josh. Josh, what's going on?
Chris, did you see that the Sphere fired their CFO today?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
That's interesting news, I guess.
What do you think of the long-term viability of the Sphere?
I have no
it'll
clue
survive,
how
but
I just don't know how it's viable. I really don't. I mean, I guess they're getting a lot of big name concerts and, they're doing those residencies and stuff, but the place costs so much money. And I feel like there's not anybody going to the postcards from Earth stuff anymore. The people that wanted to do that have done it. It's ridiculously expensive to go to that.
I can get us tickets.
Yeah, that's true.
We get free seats.
Yeah, the Venetian status thing, or you could just ask a host if you need to. But I don't know long term how it's really going to survive. I mean, those debt payments got to be pretty serious.
Yeah. I don't know if this is confirmed. It's probably still in the rumor stage, but I heard that they were trying to rework Wizard of Oz to play on the Sphere, in place of the postcards from Earth thing. So
that'd be kind of cool if they did something like that. But yeah, I don't know, Josh. Maybe if they offered multiple different things during the day and lowered that price point significantly. It just feels like it's going to be on Groupon soon enough, where you buy a ticket, get two free or something like that.
That's a lot of nut to cover for Groupon. So
it is.
We'll
I hear
see.
you.
What's going on with you?
Not too terribly much.
You're feeling better?
I'm feeling 100% better. My voice is pretty much back to normal. Life is treating me well at this point. I'm just back from Vegas a week ago. And Josh, I was going to save it for the end of the episode. I almost booked another trip for this weekend out to Vegas. Almost.
That would be excessive, Chris.
But even Josh knows when I say almost, there's still an 80% chance it might happen, even though I've completely ruled it out. I have this Saturday, Sunday open. So I thought about doing another one-day trip. And then I thought, but where would I go, Josh? I can't go right back to Wynn after I just said goodbye to him. And it's like, I don't know if I want to do just a one-day trip to Venetian. So it kind of narrowed it down to where it'd have to be an MGM trip.
Would you go Saturday?
Yeah, Saturday and just come home Sunday. Just do a whole 24 hours.
So for our patrons who get early access to the show, if you want to go Saturday to Aria, the craps table, Saturday morning, Chris will probably be there.
No, don't say that. I think some of the flight prices are kind of holding me back. I didn't have a ton of options and they were pretty expensive. So that's what's kind of keeping me from doing it. But Josh, I am ready to be back in Vegas since I'm coming off a somewhat positive trip.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. There have been some changes in your play, I hear. A lot of baccarat.
There have. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But first, let's tell people how to get a hold of us. You can send us an email. That is podcast@crapvegas.com. You can join us on our Facebook group. We love to have everybody over there. I know the numbers have been going way up. There's a ton of participation. Josh kind of manages that whole thing from our perspective. But of course, we have moderators and Sean and James over there helping out as well. That's at crapvegas.com/Facebook. Go there and it'll link you right over. You can leave us a voicemail that we'll never play on the show. That's crapvegas.com/voicemail. Or the easiest way is always going to be on Twitter.
X.
He's at Vegas Duffy. I'm at Small Whale 13, or the show page is at Crap Vegas.
I don't think you should say we'll never play them on the show. I'm thinking somewhere in the back of my head.
I think we do it once a year, right?
I'm thinking you're storing up all the voicemails we have received.
Oh, I have them.
And we're going to play them on episode 100.
Oh, well, we'll see what happens.
Episode 100 is going to be an all voicemail episode. We're just going to phone it in.
That day will come, Josh. We're just not there yet.
That's right.
Okay, previous episode feedback, Josh. Couple things I wanted to get through. Last week, we had a question from listener Jamie asking about regression strategies and what dealers think about that sort of thing. We did get some feedback on that, so I wanted to kind of single out a couple things if that works for you.
Absolutely, yeah. I know we heard a lot of people had some input on that, including Trey, who I mentioned on the show, felt just totally disrespected about me calling out his regression strategy. No, he was okay with it. He was flattered to be mentioned on the show. So
it was nothing personal. First one, Josh, from listener Nick. He said, completely get Jamie's system, but expecting any dealers to be on board is not going to end well. Dealers want simple press moves or same bets. Anything else will always be frowned upon.
Well, Nick, I think you're absolutely right. And maybe we'll even get some from the horse's mouth on that.
Yeah, that's coming up in just a second. In between, though, listener John said, I think a single regression at the beginning is fine, but anything more than once or bets coming down and back up is never okay. Slows the game down way too much and gets confusing for everyone.
Yeah, for both Nick and John, I think the point's well taken, and it's kind of the same thing. If you're bouncing around doing especially inconsistent things, I think anything that makes the dealer's job harder is just they're not going to like as much. I mean, it's pretty simple on that.
Absolutely. So coming to the most important follow-up email that we got a message from dealer Rick, who said, okay, let's just say, do you guys like players that are doing this on your game? We absolutely hate when players take bets up or down, when you have tree color bets, all that stuff just drives us crazy. Why lie to your listeners? We thrive on smooth and clean paying off bets, just like you guys do. Chris, being that you still love the win, you're always welcome. Now, Josh, being a slot player, he can play on that roll to win game we have at Win
We
now.
haven't talked about that.
We haven't talked about it, but it's still there, Josh. Still love your show, and players that stop and play say they know you guys. Hope to see you soon. Rick, your favorite dealer. Good luck in future gambling.
Well, thanks, Rick. Are you going to be on the roll to win? I want to know if you're going to be dealing the roll to win game. That would make, if you're on that game, everybody needs to go to win and play with Rick on roll to win.
Oh my God, I can't even imagine what that would be like having him on that game. But that being said, I never thought they would put Rick on Crapless, and I've heard that they have.
That's true. I can't remember.
So
I don't think I played with him on Crapless.
I've never played with him on Crapless. I've never seen him on Crapless, but it would look weird. It just really would look weird. If it's not Jeff, Swan, and Sarah on that table, I don't even know what to say. Okay, so thanks for all your messages, guys, about that. We have a tendency to agree there.
Yep.
Josh, last week we also had a segment on Would You Rather Vegas edition.
Oh, yeah.
We got some alternative suggestions for listeners. I thought I'd propose these to you real quick and see what you say. Okay, first one from Tim. Okay, CV bros, choice for you. Would you rather be limited to only sports betting for the rest of your gambling career or to playing Pai Gow poker?
This was a good one. I like this one, Tim. I was tempted to say Pai Gow because Pai Gow is kind of fun. It is a card game and a casino, but I like sports enough, and I do get some thrills from sports betting. Plug for Fading Crap Vegas over on the Patreon side. That's shameless plug, indeed.
Exactly, shameless.
I think that I would pick sports betting pretty easily if those were my two choices. How about you?
I don't think it's like a single dimension here because there's a lot of things you got to factor in. Pai Gow players, depending on the level that you're playing with, and this doesn't specify like bet levels or anything.
Right.
Pai Gow players can be well comped and have
True.
suites and
you're
have
not
the
going to
true
get that
Vegas
as much
experience.
as a sports bettor.
And as a sports bettor, pretty much no, you're not going to get any of that stuff. Getting a drink ticket can be hard sometimes when you're a sports bettor. But Pai Gow is just way too boring to me. And honestly, I really do like sports betting. I mean, Josh mentioned the Fading Crap Vegas show, and whether the picks win or not, we just have fun recording that. But in real life, I do make a decent chunk of sports bets. And I was actually shooting Josh a thing earlier. I was looking at my lifetime sports betting on the DraftKings app, and I'm very positive, which is great to hear.
Yeah.
I really like sports betting. So if you're making me choose between the two, I would go with sports betting and take up another hobby like pickleball or something to fill the rest of my time.
Yeah. Okay. We're in agreement there.
Okay. Another choice, Josh, from Jim B. Jim says, Crap's choice for you. Would you rather play the don't on a $25 to $500 table or the pass line on a $5 to $50 table?
Great would you rather, Jim, but this one's an easy call for me. I'm staying on the pass line even at low limit. I just can't stand the don't.
This is hard.
Chris has a hard time with low limit.
I don't enjoy playing that low of limit, especially on a craps table. I'm going to say the pass line
to $50.
Well,
then you do some put bets.
A lot of put bets. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of put bets. Can you have more than one put bet at the same time? No, I think I would do the pass line 5 to 50. But what I probably would do, Josh, is I'd start being a lot more prop heavy in the middle of the table.
Oh, yeah,
I would
that's
start
a good
doing
call,
a lot
right.
more of that stuff to kind of increase those hits. Playing all the hard ways at table max
50,
right from the
right?
start. Yeah, that's probably what I would do. But
$50 on the ATS. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 50 each.
Jim didn't limit us on that.
No, he did not. From Amber, Josh, hotel choice for you. Would you rather stay at Circa or Virgin?
Well, to me, this one's easy. I'll be curious to see where you go, Chris, but great one, Amber. So for this, would you rather, I would say Circa easily, hands down Circa. You've got there. I mean, there's a lot of reasons that, some of ours we've talked about before that we're not partial to some of the DS properties, but I think Circa, the sports book's fantastic with great food options. There is craps and all the other gamblings. They probably even have Huff and Puff and more Puff and even more Puff and mansions
and
all that
them, yep.
stuff. But so that one's easy. I don't think there's much appealing, honestly, about Virgin. I mean, I guess you get a pretty clean room and it's going to be quieter than Circa, but from everything I've heard, that place is just really dead.
It is really dead. But if we're just talking about where I'd rather stay, I'd probably rather stay at Virgin. Circa's known for their paper thin walls.
That's true. If you're not going to play, if you're just
all
staying,
the noise that comes from Stadium Swim. It's very bro heavy there, Josh.
Yeah.
And I'm not a bro sort of guy. Virgin, I hear the new rooms are very nice once they remodeled and came in. I hear they're great. I mean, yeah, you're right. The casino's dead. But of course, they're all going to offer the same slots, the same games and all that stuff. So you know me, I prefer things to be relatively empty when I go places. So I think I'd rather have an empty Virgin than a bro pack Circa. Is that not safe for radio? Are we not allowed to say that an empty Virgin?
Staying off the empty Virgin.
I didn't think about it from that perspective. Okay, last one, Josh, from Denise. Would you rather, and this is probably along the same lines, at least for me, would you rather spend a whole trip downtown only or simply not come to Vegas at all?
Oh, well, it's downtown for me. I would choose downtown over not going to Vegas. You shouldn't be listening to this podcast if the answer is don't come to Vegas. It's just wrong. What are you going to say, Chris? Thanks, Denise.
Episode 65 was the last one that we had, guys. We
Chris
really appreciate you listening.
No,
you know me. I don't love downtown. It's not a place I really want to spend a lot of time. But if you're offering me not come at all or stay downtown, then I'm staying downtown. I'm going to make it work. I'm going to try to find something that works for me. I'll bounce around a little bit, probably play lower level. I avoid Fremont Street as much as I possibly can. But honestly, Josh, it's a lot closer than you would think because I just don't enjoy it down there as much anymore.
All right, I got one more. Would you rather?
Oh, good. Go ahead.
Would you rather stay at Circa or would you rather stay at El Cortez, assuming you're not trespassed?
El Cortez.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
How about Plaza?
Vegas.
How about Circa or Plaza?
Yeah. Well, no. Find out on the next episode. Okay, last thing, Josh, feedback this week regarding buying the 5 and 9 at MGM properties that I think we've talked about 50 times on this show because everybody has a different answer on this.
Yep.
One of our listeners said, Josh, Cosmo is allowing you to buy the 5 and 9, pay VIG on win only,
right?
But no dealers have any clue about it, and it always leads to a very lengthy discussion over the ability to do so.
And that seems to be the theme at the MGM properties. You may be able to. You may be able to at Aria, but not Bellagio. You may be able to at Park, but not Luxor. But
you may be able to in Graveyard at
right.
Aria, but not on Swing. It's amazing that there is just no standard practice at MGM. We've heard plenty of people say, yes, you can buy the 5 and 9 VIG only on win. We've heard plenty of people say you absolutely cannot. They would not allow us. So I don't know what to think at this point.
It seems like they need to have it's very much, we've talked about this before, but it's like if you try and make place bets and have them be player control. Sometimes they let you do that. Some shifts let you do it. Some make you put the bet on top of your place bet. Some don't. Yeah. They can't seem to get that.
Same thing, especially MGM Properties has these issues. Same things with taking a VIG on a dealer bet. You put a dealer on the line on a 4 and 10. Some places a $5 bet's going to pay 10. Sometimes they pay 9. Sometimes they tell you they have to take the VIG if the bet stays up, and they don't have to take the VIG if the bet comes down. You hear a different answer from literally every single dealer at MGM Properties. They have got to get their head out of their ass and put out a standard policy for all this stuff so it's not so confusing.
It's true.
Okay, Josh, I think that wraps up our previous episode feedback, though, so let's keep it rolling. Okay, so I am just back from a trip over to Wynn, Josh. It was something that I did kind of last minute, but I was really excited to get back out there. I knew there was no chance I was going to hit black this year, so I thought I better get one final trip to see everybody before my status is gone. But it was just so good to be back.
Yeah, Chris, I was jealous. Chris is, of course, we'll talk about it. Chris was sending me updates through the trip, and I'm reliving all my Win memories and missing Win and Rick and Jay and all the crews over there.
Of which, by the way, neither of those two people were there.
Didn't see either one of them. Oh, well. So, Chris, let's start with your, as we, I like to go chronological order. Let's start with your car ride. What transportation did you get this time?
Okay, so Josh, let's go back before that.
Oh, before transportation.
Chris, when he was trying to fly in, this was right around the time there was a hurricane hitting down in Florida.
Yeah,
Hurricane
I meant to
Helene.
ask you about that, right.
And so Chris said, I'm going to fly north through Minneapolis on a Delta flight rather than going through Atlanta, because I thought there's a much better chance of flight delays heading south with everything that was going on.
Did you meet up with Boring Jack in Minneapolis?
I didn't. He did not come see me at the airport. But Josh, my flight was delayed over 2 hours trying to get up to Minneapolis. It was a mess. Finally got up there. I had to change my second flight. I was supposed to get into Vegas at like noon. Didn't end up getting into like 3:30. But I was sitting in the lounge, the Sky Lounge,
right,
when I was in Minneapolis. And I was like, you know what? I better call and change my transportation because I was on a different flight number.
Oh, yeah. I know where you're going. Yeah.
And it was, roughly noon at this point, Eastern. So about 9 o'clock Pacific at that point. I knew our host was not working at that point in the day.
Right.
He typically doesn't start until 11 or 11
somewhere
or
in
noon.
there, noon, yeah.
Somewhere in then. So I didn't want to bug him because I didn't think he would answer. So I looked up the number for VIP services at Wynn, called, got a person on the phone rather quickly. But gosh, Josh, it was the most frustrating conversation I think I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, you did not have, Chris was texting me in real time when this is going on. And it took him, what, Chris, would you say it took you 20 minutes at least? Yeah, to get your transportation figured out.
I was put on hold over and over again. Originally, they told me I had no ride scheduled. They couldn't find me in the system at all that I was getting picked up. I gave them my name, my player number, all the stuff. Even weirder, Josh, when you call their VIP services team, before they'll even talk to you, they verify your date of birth and driver's license number.
Which is just weird.
Which is really weird. Yeah. I really thought I was getting scammed calling a random number. If they asked for my social, I was out. But
if we send you a password reset code, please give us
please tell us what it is. No, it felt really weird, but eventually she came back and confirmed my new information. There was a driver waiting for me, Josh. I got a Phantom, which was really exciting.
Nice. I missed those.
It was even better than that. Recently, a lot of my drivers at Wynn, especially, they have a tendency to just text you, right when you're first supposed to be getting there. And they'll usually ask, do you have any bags or anything? And I always tell them no, because I always just, I just bring my bag with me. And they said, hey, as soon as he asked that question, I immediately responded, I can just meet you down on the 0 level if that's easier. It's much easier in my eyes just to walk down the escalator and meet him at the bottom of the stairs.
Right.
Driver really appreciated it. And of course he was, oh, you've been here before. I was like, yeah, way too many times because some people wouldn't even know what you're talking about. But that being said, met him down on the 0 level. The Phantom was there, a great car ride. The driver was extremely nice. The only thing worth mentioning is during the car ride, Josh, he's like, oh, hold on, because we were having a conversation. He said, oh, hold on 1 second. I need to radio back in your ETA. I think your host wants to meet with you when you arrive.
Oh, that's never happened to you before. He's met me before when I've arrived.
And fast
forward,
must have made
you feel good.
It still has not happened. He calls ahead and says, hey, let host name know that Chris is going to be there in 10 minutes or so. Does the whole thing, lets him know. And he's like, yeah, he must really want to meet with you when you first arrive or something. I was like, okay, cool. And fast forward, Josh, I didn't see my host the whole weekend. Not once. Not a text, not in person, nothing.
He responded to you at the end of the trip saying he took care of your folio.
He didn't actually respond. He actually sent the first message.
Oh, it was a proactive message.
It was a proactive message. Good for him on that one, even though there was nothing to take care of at that point. But yeah, anyways, got the Phantom. It was a great ride over, great check-in, rooms ready. Of course,
did you get the massage room?
No, I didn't. I just had my normal Tower Suite King. I've never had a suite at Wynn, and I'll never have a suite at Wynn. Although that may change after my recent play.
You've stepped up a level.
But we'll get to that in a second, Josh. 29th floor room, beautiful view of the Sphere and the golf course. I love the golf course facing rooms because it's just I have a tendency even to keep my windows like clear and not blind
once in a while, right?
Yeah, when I'm
that was
staying in
my
those
favorite
rooms.
view before the Sphere. I mean, I love the golf course side.
Oh, golf course view is so much better. I agree 100%.
And honestly, I mean, I think the Sphere is cool to look at, and I get it, especially for tourists and things like that. But after a while, it's a lot out your window. It's a lot. You know, I almost like the sereneness of the golf course better. But oh well.
Yeah, no, I should have closed my curtains just a little bit to
so
block.
You only had the golf course, right?
To block the Sphere off, but I
you
can just see the golf course
and the Westgate. If you,
I will tell you, Josh, while I was there, I looked down on the golf course at night one evening. I think Friday night when I was there, and there was a wedding that was taking place on the golf course down there. I saw all the white chairs set up, and all that stuff was down there. And about an hour later, I saw all the people file in. Thinking ahead, though, Josh, it was literally 109 degrees out.
Yeah.
Can you think of anything worse than getting married in 110 degree weather?
Funeral.
Okay, fair. I can't argue with you. You win. Game over. So, yeah, Josh, it was pretty cool. The room was great. To start off, though, Josh, I'm just going to say it was some of the worst craps I've ever had in my life. And I'm not talking about in a bathroom. I'm talking about on the tables. It was not good.
Yeah, Chris is sending me updates, and his first few sessions were disastrous. You did see some of our favorite dealers. You didn't see Rick, Jay, or Nick, but you saw some other good ones, right?
No, of course. I mean, yeah, all the great crews that you would expect in the afternoons, Montana and Janine and all those guys were working. They're always terrific to play with. In the mornings, Liz was there, of course. So there was, Rick's de facto work wife, I'll call her. So Liz was there, got to see her.
What do you call her that she hates, Lizzie? Or
No, I don't do that anymore. I'm not going to do that, Josh. Not making anybody mad. No. And of course, Josh, the crapless crew, Swan, Sarah, Jeff, they were all there. Played with them once or twice. It was the most fun I had at a craps table all weekend was playing with them. But at the same time, like I said, it was just really rough. I had one winning session at craps the whole weekend. The only thing that was redeeming about it was my last crap session right before I was about to head home. So at least I finished on a positive note.
Did you try and go over to Encore or anything to, change your luck?
And I actually wanted to mention that. I can't play at Encore anymore. I think I understand why people like playing there.
Right.
Especially because their table limits are so much lower.
Yeah.
You can
Quarter table, yeah.
I mean, you can almost always find a $15 table there, at least from what I've found.
Wow.
There was at least one $15 table all weekend. And this week, Josh, it was the first time I had ever seen 3 tables open at Encore. They have 4.
Yeah.
But I've never seen
now that you
more than
mentioned
2.
that, yeah. Usually it's 2.
But they had 3. There was a $15 table all weekend, always a $25 table, nothing higher than that ever. That being said, Josh, I just can't do it. It's not that the dealers aren't as good, although they aren't. That's not what bothers me. Encore caters to a lot of beginner players. It seems like everybody that goes and stays at Wynn Encore that doesn't know how to play ends up at an Encore table. I'm sure because of the table limits.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It has to be.
The game moves so slowly.
Right.
Even when there's only 2 or 3 people at the table, I can't handle it. It's a bunch of people that don't know what they're doing, making bets that they don't know what they're making, throwing money at the wrong times, hands out over the table at all times, arguing over stupid stuff that they're completely wrong about. And like the dealers there, you would think they would be more appreciative of you, of being somebody that knows what they're doing and tipping and all that stuff. But I almost find them nowadays to be condescending. Like they treat you like you're just another one of these idiots that doesn't know what they're doing. And, like you'll put a bet out and they'll be like, oh, well, you can, that bet really could be this.
Right.
Well, it could be anything you want it to be. I mean, I'd put 15, 15, 15 on the all tall small, like I always do. I do that plus a $5 crap check to make it a $50 middle action before I start. And he's like, you really should do quarter. That's, I was like, what do you mean? I mean, yeah,
you should.
If I had an extra $30, I should. But I mean, it's a horrible bet. Increasing it doesn't make it better. I don't know. Just stupid things like that. They felt really condescending to me this past weekend. But I think honestly, Josh, unless we're at Win Together sometime and all the tables, like maybe it's March Madness and all the tables are $200 minimums.
You're just sticking on the win side.
I think I'm just going to stick on the win side from this point forward.
I think it's because the walk was bothering you. Too long.
No, I actually like the walk. I mean, I want to get the steps in, and And you know just as well as I do, Josh, there's usually some very beautiful people walking in between Encore's pool and Wynn.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
So there's lots of sights to be seen, but just the craps over there. We can just go play slots over there. How's that?
So speaking of slots, you gave me a lot of crap. Again,
I don't know what you're talking about.
You gave me a lot of crap for being a slots player now.
The tapes are gone from last episode, right?
I should have queued it up. Darn it.
I thought you were going to, honestly.
It's not too late. So yeah, you gave me a lot of crap for that. And what happened? Let's talk about your slot play. Craps was so bad you thought, I'm going to drown my sorrows in some Huff and Puff, right?
I mean, Josh, it was just so bad. And it's like we've talked about before. The bad part about craps is when it's going poorly, you can blow through so much money in such a short period of time that you really get nothing out of it.
You don't get any fun.
Points. You didn't have any fun. I mean, there's just nothing good coming from it. And I was having a lot of sessions like that where I'd come up and do my normal buy-in at a table, which is quite large.
Right.
And 15 minutes later, I'd be down to like $500 left. And it's like, what am I doing? It's no fun. I'm not making money. It's just, I was miserable. So I said, I got to switch it up. I played a little bit of video poker. Wasn't really having a lot of luck on the video poker side. Of course, you never earn too many tier credits playing video poker. I was like, I got to do something different. Okay, I'm going to try some slots. So I sat down, and Josh, within 5 minutes of playing my first slot, I was already up a couple grand after hitting a couple hand pays. It started off on fire. And fast forward, I never needed to pull more money out of my pocket. I was playing on Tito tickets the whole weekend.
Which is fantastic. So what'd you start with? Did you start with Huff and Puff? I think you did for me, right?
I did. I actually found a Huff and Puff mansion machine.
Oh, you played mansions.
That you had been waiting to find. I never organically hit the mansion bonus. I did get the Huff and Puff, like the people, like where you get the 6 things. And you get to go from there. I did get that bonus a couple of times, had it auto queue a couple of times, as you like to call it, free bonuses, where they just
you got the wolf.
Yeah, where they make a sound or a light flashes and all of a sudden you get a bonus.
Yeah.
I think it's a little different on the mansion machine.
Oh, is it? There's no wolf on the mansions?
There's some different sounds on there.
Okay.
But that being said, I did get a couple bonuses on it, one of them which was a hand pay, started moving around to other games, got hand pays. I found that, Frankenstein game or whatever that people love so much. Hit a couple hand pays on that. It was just handing me like $800 bonus, $800 bonus. And then all of a sudden I'd get a $3,000 or $4,000 bonus. It's like, oh, that's cool. And it just kept paying me. And this same slot attendant kept coming back to me. And she's like, oh, you hit another one. You hit another one. Great.
Yeah, those are fun when that happens. Yeah.
I mean, it was the same person every time. So that was a lot of fun. It made Saturday not terrible. I still lost money on Saturday, but it helped out a lot.
So, Chris, you said you played, if you're comfortable talking about it, what limits did you play in the various slots? What were your
so
levels?
On the Huff and Puff ones, I was typically $20 or $30. Somewhere in that range. I think on the Mansions game, I was 20.
Yeah, and I like 20 or 30 too.
And on the Huff and even more Puff, that base bet is usually 30 because it's 60 credits, and I played on the 50-cent denomination.
Right.
So it made it $30.
But I know you played some higher. So what game did you play higher?
That was Sunday.
Okay.
Fast forward to Sunday a little bit. And on Sunday, I found myself completely addicted to Dragon Link. I don't know why. There's a very specific Dragon Link version that I was playing.
Which one?
It was
got to get way into slot talk here.
Like the Asian one where they have like the...
Aren't they all Asian ones?
Are they? I don't think so. No, it was like the Chinese one where they had like Chinese soldiers and
with
pots.
The chest that opens? Or no?
Yes.
The pots.
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
Maybe it's pots. I think it was pots.
Because there's the chests and the pots.
Okay. I don't know, Josh. You lost me at this point.
We need our listeners' help on this.
We do. Anyways, really like Dragon Link. I found myself addicted to that game for the remainder of the weekend, and I tended to float between 25 and 50 a pull, just depending on how it was going. But it was going so well that I had a tendency to gravitate towards 50 most of the time I was doing it.
And Chris, you said you averaged 25 to 50 a pull.
Mm-hmm.
You made a mistake one time, though. I have a text.
I did. That was Sunday. Sunday morning. I had just hit a pretty big hand pay at that point.
Right.
Like 4,000 or 5,000, something like that.
Right.
And so I had a bunch of Tito tickets. By the way, I learned something about Tito tickets, Josh.
Oh.
You got to be really careful. I have a tendency when I get a handful of Tito tickets to put them all in the machine to combine them into one.
Okay.
So I only have to carry one ticket instead of multiple
I don't
tickets.
think I do that much. Go ahead.
Be glad that you don't, because it turns out on a lot of the machines,
they arrest you. No.
yeah, you go to jail. No, it turns out on the main floor, most of the slot machines on the main floor, other than a couple specific banks, the machines won't take tickets above a certain amount, and the certain amount is typically between $3,000 and $4,000. So if you have, like, if you combine a bunch of tickets and have a slot ticket for $5,000,
right,
you can't put it in 90% of the machines on the main floor. High limit, it will all take.
Yeah.
It. But on the main floor, 90% of the machines won't take tickets that large. And B, your cash out machines won't take them either. You have to go to the cage.
Oh, interesting.
So
that's good to
just
know.
as a fun fact, don't combine all your tickets or don't get tickets over, say 2,000, 3,000. And that answers my question a lot. There's been multiple times that I've gone and like I hit a jackpot and they're like, I was like, can I get a ticket? And they're always like, how many tickets do you want?
Right.
And I always say one, thinking, why would you want multiple? Now I know why you would want multiple.
Yeah, I do the same thing. That's interesting when they ask those questions, right? Or if you're going and getting a Tito ticket up at the cage and you're
if
getting
you're taking a marker.
If you're taking a marker, right. And you'll ask for example, 5,000 and they'll say, do you want that in one ticket or do you want it split up?
Yes.
Probably,
I would encourage you
with
to
the idea of,
at least
you're
two,
going out on the main
more.
floor, right? Interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. So now I know why. Now I'm a slot expert, Josh.
That's right.
So
we're probably getting all this wrong.
I had a couple large tickets in my pocket, like $8,000 and $9,000 a piece, like huge tickets. And it wasn't taking them on the couple games I wanted to play. And then I found a Huff and Even More Puff on the main floor, put it in, it took the ticket. I was like, okay, great. I'm going to play some Huff and Even More Puff. Josh loves this
Just for me, yep.
And I was kind of texting back and forth with you at the same time. So I wasn't really paying a ton of attention. I knew I was hitting Josh the 300 credit because I thought I was playing 10 cents, 300 credits, $30.
Right.
Well, at some point, it unfortunately switched over to being a dollar denomination. So I was playing $300 a spin for at least 5 or 6 pulls before I even noticed. And the only thing that caught my eye, I wouldn't have noticed at all, Josh, but I looked at my tier credits on the screen just randomly, and I was like, how have I already earned 300 tier credits?
You've only been here a minute.
What is going on? And then it finally hit me, and I was like, oh, shit.
That's when, wouldn't it have been fun if you did hit bonus then?
Well, that's what pissed me off. The moment I switched, the next spin, I switched to 30 instead of 300, I hit a bonus, and that bonus paid out about $6,000.
It wouldn't have made any difference.
It wouldn't have mattered. Timing
it wouldn't have mattered.
Different.
Right.
It did not matter at all. But in my mind, I'm saying my bet was just 10 times higher. This would have been a $60,000 hand pay if I had just caught it randomly when I wasn't paying attention.
Those things, I don't think I've ever, I've definitely done over for sure what I meant to, but I don't think I've ever done anything close to 300.
I've never done anything near that much.
Your host was probably happy.
Yeah, I'm sure he loved it. And, most of the time it wouldn't matter because I'd be playing on slot tickets small enough. Like I'd put $1,000 in a machine. So 3 spins later, it's pretty much gone and it would stop me. That wasn't the issue today when I was doing that. So yeah, that was a lot of fun, Josh. A lot of fun games that I like. A couple things before we keep going on slot related things that I did want to mention. One, we talked on recent Trips to Win about how their room service deliveries have been getting worse and worse timing wise.
Yeah.
They're quoting, 50 minutes. It's taken an hour and a half, or quoting an hour and it's taken almost 2 hours. One thing I did do on all my meals, because I ate room service every meal this trip.
Right.
Every time I went on their iPad they have in their room and placed the order and placed it in advance.
Oh, you did
and
the
you
timed order.
Yeah. And you can call them and do the same way. You don't have to use the iPad if you don't want to. I just thought the iPad was easier. But on the iPad, I went in and it asked you, the first question is, do you want to place an order for now with a 50-minute wait time or a future time? And every time I did a future time, it always came on time, if not early. And one time I placed it for a breakfast order at 11. And when I got back up to the room at 10:50, the guy was standing at the door waiting for me.
Right. Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, the timed orders at Win, if you're doing room service and if you can, are the way to go.
Absolutely.
In my experience, it's the same thing. It's right there for you when you order it. When you set the time for.
Yeah, they're on top of it. A couple other random things, Josh. All the boxes, as expected, went out of their way to be extremely friendly this past trip.
Yep.
Came up and said hello, and so glad to see you back. We're glad Josh isn't playing here anymore. You were our favorite brother anyways.
That's right, yeah.
I heard a lot of stuff like that. I got a lot of compliments from female dealers, Josh, on my new appearance after losing all this weight. No man ever said anything. Not a male said a word to me about it, but every single female, Swan and Sarah and Christy, and I think Liz did. I can't remember. Janine absolutely did. Chris, Michelle, everybody.
The dealers at the crapless table know how to get tips out of you. They're really good at knowing how to get tips.
They're very smart, and they knew. They're like, this guy's already a George. If I talk him up, he's going to be even better.
You look good.
So yeah. Oh yeah, that's what they. Yeah, at one point, Sarah just came over. She was on her break. She brought a chair over, pulled it up next to me on a different table, and just sat there and talked to me and looked at me because I was so cute.
There we go.
At least that's what I told myself.
It's going to be Jay.
Yeah, I don't think so. But yeah, anyways, Josh, that was great. Let's fast forward though. So Sunday. It was Sunday morning. It was early. Craps again had gone horribly. Started playing over at Dragon Link. And on my first jackpot of the day, Josh, it was a couple $1,000s. The slot attendant came over and he goes, hey, do you want to be set up on Fast Pay?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, oh, we've talked about that before, but I've never done it.
Did you say we've talked about that on the show?
Well, I said that to myself.
Yeah.
I said, no, absolutely. I said, get me set up. Do you need anything from me? No, you're good. I'll get it taken care of. You're in the system, right? I said, yeah. So he went back there and within 5 minutes, he came back. He said, you're all set up. All you need is your PIN. Do you know your PIN? And I said, yeah, I know it. He said, you're all set. You don't need anything. Here's your ticket for this one that you hit, but you'll be set on this one forward. And I said, oh, do I need my W2G? He said, no. He said, don't worry about it. At the end of whenever you're done with the day, he said, you'll get a report that has everything on it. I won't give you anything for the rest of the trip. And I said, perfect. Thank you so much. Josh, fast forward throughout the day, I had 23 hand pays.
Okay.
With the biggest being over $8,000. It was a nice one that I hit that one time. Most of them were somewhere between $4,000 and $6,000. Fast Pay is quite possibly the greatest thing to ever happen to slots. And I will never look back again. I will always swing by the high limit desk and turn on Fast Pay for the day, whether I think I'm going to hit a lot of jackpots or not. It is so time saving. It like simplicity of ease,
right?
Rule, all that stuff. You aren't paying a slot attendant every single time to come bring you a hand pay and waiting 10 or 15 minutes at a place like Wynn that doesn't reset the machines. It literally is.
And it's great for the property too.
Not for the slot attendants, but it's definitely great for the property.
Yeah, I meant the bottom line of the property.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it was absolutely terrific, Josh. You hit that hand pay. It pops up on the screen and asks, do you want a hand pay or do you want to self pay? You tap self pay. It asks you for your PIN number. You type it in. And within 3 seconds, the money's on your machine and you're playing again. That's it. It's that simple. I mean, it could not be easier. And fast forward to the end of the day, Josh, he told me, at the end of your day, whenever you're done, or at the end of your trip, if you want to do it multiple times, swing by the high limit slot desk. So I went by the high limit slot desk in Wynn's high limit room that you've been to 100 times before. Oh, yeah. I said, hey, I was on Fast Pay. I just wanted to get my report. He said, are you done gambling for the day? I said, yep, absolutely. He said, no problem. Took my card. Within a minute, he printed me out a 1-page ledger that had every hand pay listed by machine, time that it hit, the payment amount, any taxes withheld, all of it on 1-page summary with totals. And then they print one W2G that has all those hand pays totaled into one. So in my case, it was over 40,000. It was a great day from a gambling perspective there, but it just has one W2G with $40,000 on it. With just one set of numbers. Josh, it is so easy. And even if you're somebody like us that hits a hand pay pretty darn consistently because the limits are so low, I mean, it probably saved me at a bare minimum, probably $800 or $1,000.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. So, Chris, for people that are kind of newer to slots or don't get jackpots that much, or when you say $40,000, that's not what you finished ahead. You didn't win $40,000.
No, that was just the net jackpot amount that I hit.
Right.
So at the end, I mean, fast forward to the end of the trip, I ended up losing $2,000 for the whole trip. And that includes having $43,000 in jackpots on Sunday and probably another
the craps
25
that did you
on
in,
Saturday.
isn't it?
The craps absolutely destroyed me. It was a very large 5-figure craps loss, but a very large 5-figure slot win.
There you go.
So it all effectively netted out. But, Josh, it's like I said, it's the same thing we said about you last episode. No matter what, as much as I'd rather be at the craps table playing, and if craps was going well, I never would have played those kind of slots.
Me too.
But at the end of the day, playing all those slots is far better for me than playing craps ever will be.
Yeah, when you think about your tier credits, I'm sure you got a ton of tier credits. Did you end up making black?
Well, I came into this trip, I had 30,000 tier credits earned. Win to get black requires 70,000 tier credits. An average 2-night, 3-day trip for Josh and us, we typically earn 15, 20,000 tier credits-ish, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, I was going to say, because we tend to get 5 to 7 a day usually, right? Is that about right?
Maybe a little bit more
Maybe
nowadays.
A little more,
it's probably 7 to 10.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, somewhere between 15 and 20 for a trip is normal.
Right.
Fast forward for me, Josh, I was there for effectively 24 hours for this trip.
Right.
I got there on Saturday morning and I was out Sunday afternoon. I earned 30,000 tier credits in a single day.
So double,
I'm now
more than double.
It was actually more than 30,000 tier credits. I'm only 6,000 tier credits away from black. So now at this point, I will be going back to win before the end of the year because I might as well at this point hit black status. There's no reason to lose that for next year.
So you're 6,000 away at win. You're about 400 away at
400
from diamond
away at Venetian. Yeah.
I can't remember. Are you close to platinum or did you make platinum at MGM?
Oh,
I can't remember.
no. I got 300,000 MGM tier credits. I'm good there.
Oh, so yeah. Well, there you go. Covered all the way around. We just need to get you 7 stars at Caesars and you'll be good.
Yeah, no, I have no desire for that. You don't get anything out of it. Couple quick questions that people ask me about Fast Pay that I did look into. To do Fast Pay, you mentioned it on your first jackpot of the day, or I guess you can go to the desk early and sign up before you even hit your first jackpot.
Right.
That being said, it's only for a single day. Signing up for Fast Pay does not put you in the system for all trips that each day you're going to be a Fast Pay person.
Right.
So you actually do have to go each morning or on your first one of the day and sign up for that day. So Sunday, I did it. If I was still there Monday, I would have had to do the same thing Monday and get a completely different report.
And about how long does it take to set it up? Like if you had to do it the next day. Okay, so it's not an arduous process.
I think they just type in a couple numbers and hit a button and it clicks you in for the day. The reason that they do that, Josh, the reporting day that they use according to the slot attendant is 3 a.m. to 3 a.m. So they reset every day at 3 a.m. So at that point, you would have to sign up again for the next day.
Cool. Well, so overall, it sounds like you had a really good trip, a lot of fun, lots of fun slots, and the loss wasn't too bad at all.
No, the loss was perfectly fine. I got my marker statement today for like $2,500 for one ticket I took towards the end that I just didn't want to pay off. It was very easy. I had a great trip from a gambling perspective. And I'm honestly interested. We've talked a lot about how our win offers never change.
Right.
Ever.
Oh, yeah. No, I know where you're going. Yes, they're going to change.
I'm curious to see if my next win corporate offer changes.
Right.
Now that I gave them that much slot play, I mean, Josh, because to earn 30,000 tier credits, that means my slot playthrough was somewhere around 150 to 200,000.
Right.
Based off the system. That's a lot of playthrough in a day.
Yeah.
So I'd like to think that my offer will improve with Win, but I'm not 100% certain that it will. But I should have had a quite large Theo loss. And honestly, if I was smart enough, I would have asked our host what my Theo loss was for the trip. I didn't even think to ask.
Well, when he came to say hi, you should have mentioned it. But
yeah, I can't believe I forgot. Maybe it just, fleeting memory,
it's funny,
I guess.
Chris, when you mentioned your marker coming, just paid it off. They still haven't taken the money on the MGM side from me. I get like 90 days.
I'll say
same
you get
as
like
cash.
3 to 4 months. And considering current market on interest rates, Josh,
I know.
I'd max out my credit line. And there are a lot of people that do that, Josh.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
There are a lot of people that max out their line every time, whether they need it or not, because it's an interest-free loan.
Yeah.
I mean, so I get it.
But yeah, seriously, though, they haven't taken mine yet. Win came fast for yours.
They waited 8-10 days, and then,
There we go.
But I only get 10 days on my Win statements. Always have.
Right.
They usually take 10 days to issue them, and they gave me 10 days. But we've heard from multiple people, the amount of time they give you on the statement is dependent upon the balance that you owe. I heard on Win markers, anything over like 20 or 25,000, it's automatically 30 days.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So there you go. Anyways, Josh, I think that pretty much wraps up my Win trip, unless you had anything else.
No, I think we covered all the highlights that you had sent me over text.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to get back, though, Josh. It was so fun going back to Win, reminding me why I love that place so much. The gambling was, from a table games perspective, but
but lots of fun on slots.
There's something special about that place. Oh, one final thought. Tower Suites Bar. Sabrina, of course, is now gone.
Right.
But even Sebastian wasn't there. So I didn't know a single person at the Tower Suites Bar.
Win is just... Chris, we buried the lead.
We did?
We buried the lead. Let's talk about, for people who don't know Win, So in one of the main intersections of Wynn is a crossroads. There's some slot machines on one side of the crossroads, beginnings of some table games, craps tables on the other side of the crossroads. There is a funny high-limit blackjack pit by the host area and the B-bar.
Yes.
What did you find out about the B-bar?
Well, where the B-bar used to be, it's no longer a B-bar. The B-bar is closed because they're going to be moving it. Well, the B-bar is still technically open right now. It's going to close.
Right.
But they're moving the B-bar across that hallway to currently where that stupid 3 blackjack table pit is, which I still don't understand. It makes no sense.
There's this blackjack pit at Wynn makes no sense at all.
It makes no sense. It's a high limit pit. It's rarely open.
You have to walk through it you don't have to, but one of the ways you get to the host desk is to walk through, or the credit desk is to walk through this blackjack pit. It's weird.
Yeah, so that side, there's those 3 tables, and then the host desk is back there, and then the credit office desk is there as well. That whole area is now boarded up. They're moving B-bar over to that side, Josh, and where the B-bar is currently, they're putting in another new high-limit salon. And from what I understand, it's going to be an expansion of their existing table games high-limit area.
Okay, which is on the other side of B-bar, right?
So on the other side of B-bar, you got blackjack, and I think there's baccarat towards the other side there too. Yeah. But behind the B-bar right now, there's a couple high-limit craps tables.
Right.
And there's some closed doors back there. I'm not 100% sure what's back in those doors because
we're not allowed there yet. Chris can't even get a suite.
But I've been told they're expanding that area, Josh, and redoing some of the bar area and stuff. And I can go a little bit further than that. My company is doing a lot of the work on this expansion. And I didn't even know that until this week when I started getting some drawings and plans. I'll just say this. Wynn's dropping a shit ton of money into this place. Pricing that I just cannot believe that they're spending on this expansion. But Josh, when you start spending 6 figures on a single piece of art, I start to wonder what's going on, but that's not for me. Yeah. But for Wynn, it makes perfect sense. They're dropping a lot of money into it. We're also doing a lot of work on the renewed lakeside space that they're creating, that new restaurant down there. Right. I can't remember what it's going to be called. Wynn's doing a lot of cool things right now. But so B-bar's moving across the hall. The host desk is moving down towards Red 8 in that area down there. Yeah. And I don't know what they're doing with the credit office. I haven't heard anything. Maybe they're moving it down a hallway or something.
No more credit,
I'm not sure. Yeah, just no more casino credit.
Players.
That doesn't work with that place very well.
Not so much.
But, I'm glad you remember that, though, Josh, because that is a big change coming on people's next visit.
There we go.
So when we come back after the break, Josh, we're going to answer your listener questions and more, so stick around. Zorkfest 2024. Josh, we're less than a month away at this point. I mean, the anticipation, it's incredible at this point. People are they're jumping at their screens to be going towards this thing. Are you excited?
Chris says that a little tongue in cheek, but I mean it. I've got like 4 or 5 text messages going with some of our listeners and friends that are going to Zorkfest. It should be a lot of fun, and there still is time to get your tickets to Zorkfest. For those that don't know what Zorkfest is, it's educational sessions about gambling and points and miles and all that kind of fun stuff that for travels and points people, for tier credit people, how to learn all those things. There's an opening night cocktail reception on Friday, Saturday morning welcome coffee, and a breakfast reception. You get even a Saturday afternoon snack. Saturday night, this is what I'm most excited about. There's a podcasters/influencers after dark panel. What do you think I am, Chris? Podcaster?
I think you're just a podcaster.
Just a podcaster, yeah.
Yeah. What I'm trying to figure out is Adam Bauer. Is he a podcaster or an influencer? Neither.
Well,
it's definitely not both.
He'll say definitely an influencer. Okay, I think you have to go there. He hasn't had a podcast release in like years.
I know. We recorded that one thing with him, and like a year and a half later, it still hadn't been put out.
But I did see there's going to be a Podcasters After Dark t-shirt that I saw that Michael showed me, so that's going to be exciting. I don't know who gets them. I hope I get one. I don't know. He may have just sent me what the sheet right.
Yours.
He just may have sent me what they look like. Anyway, there's going to be a coffee dice lab. There's going to be blackjack labs. There's all sorts of fun stuff. It's just a great place to get together. Zorkfest is a lot of fun. This will be my third one. One I went to as just a regular Zorkfest attendee, and one I went to last year as the podcaster panel. And I think I did something else. Oh, I did coffee dice. That's what it was. And it was a lot of fun. So if you haven't already got a ticket, it really is worth the price. And there's lots of add-ons you can do too. It's a great time to get together.
Absolutely. So that's November 1st through the 3rd over at Horseshoe Las Vegas. And if you're ready to get signed up, get your ticket purchased, go to travelzork.com/ZorkFest today. That's travelzork.com/ZorkFest. Listener questions, Josh. We got a question on the CV Facebook group from Lee, who is also a patron. Lee said, host at the Bellagio comped my room on the back end after reviewing my play. He said I was, quote, in the system now. Does that mean I will be hosted going forward?
Good question, Lee. I think it's hard to say for sure. It definitely, to me, would signal that you're hostable or that you're kind of at a level where you could go back to a host desk often and that kind of thing. Whether or not you'll actually be assigned a host is tough to say. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, it's a little vague within the system now.
Right.
I mean, that could just mean that, look, we know who you are. You were worthy of a free room, so your marketing offers are going to get better now, and maybe you don't need us as much. You know, I don't know what they're trying to say there. I know it's too late now, Lee. If it was me and I heard that, I would say something along the lines of...
What does that mean?
No, I probably would have said, does that mean that there's a host assigned to me now, or are you somebody I can reach out to in the future? One of those sort of questions, just to have some clarity.
Right.
But you can always call and ask before your next trip. Call and ask for the host desk and give them your player's number and say, hey, I'd worked with the host on my way out last time. I'm going to have an upcoming trip. Is there somebody I can work with this time? And see what they say.
That's a good idea. I was going to say also one other possibility is wait and look at your marketing offers. Oftentimes they will name if you have a host assigned to you, it might even come from ostensibly your host or your player communication specialist or something. So you might be able to get a clue on some of the marketing emails that you get.
Yeah, most of your Bellagio emails, Cosmo emails, stuff like that, your host name will be on the very bottom. Sometimes they have their picture, sometimes they don't, but they'll be like, contact your host X and X today at this number. So yeah, that's a good point, Josh. Question on the CV Facebook group from Raymond. Raymond said, question, does your ADT get affected only on days that you play or on all days of an offer? For example, if I book a 3-night offer but don't play on the third day versus playing just a tiny bit at like 1 a.m. on the third day, if ADT is simply the coin in or table rating divided by number of days in your stay offer, then playing a tiny bit on day 3 would only help. If instead the denominator only included days you actually play on, then having a light day would hurt you. So Josh, we know a lot about this, and you even have some more specific facts that I think are helpful here, so go ahead.
Well, so ADT is what it is. ADT is your average daily theoretical. So my understanding is if you do anything on a day, whether you swipe your card for parking or you do a buffet like I did at Wynn one day where I ran over and used my points on a buffet, all of those things will activate your playing day, will activate your day and count in your daily theoretical. So if you give them no action and you've swiped your card for something, that would be a 0 day. Now, my kind of understanding is that if I had a 2-night trip, if I was there Friday to Sunday, but I was leaving Sunday morning, I would be really careful about playing that Sunday morning because that would be an extra day that wouldn't, like they would expect you to get 2 days of playing. They would expect your ADT to be based on 2 days. If you activated that third day on just an hour, for example, or a couple minutes or something, I think that would be essentially then averaging your 2 days of play into 3 or stretching your 2 days of play into 3. Now, as a hosted player, I've been told, now this is just anecdotal from the host desk, from our host at Aria, that as a hosted player, they're much more concerned with trip theoretical. So your average trip theoretical. So if you played for an hour or two on that Sunday, they would just lump that in with your whole trip and say he gave him this much play on average, and it would just be on the trip. Chris, what do you want to add to that?
No, I think you're right on there, Josh. Hosted player trip theo matters a heck of a lot more than ADT. I've heard the exact same thing from Wynn, and we've even seen internal Wynn host emails that show that certain offers are based off trip theo, not ADT.
Right.
So that is something that they look at heavily as well. They don't care what you're doing on a daily basis, but if you come in town, what do we get from you on that trip?
Right.
It's one of the reasons that Josh's offers were typically better than mine at Wynn in the past, because he was usually staying longer. So even though his ADT may have been identical to mine,
or even lower, maybe. You're right.
I mean, the trip though was better,
right? Because
he was staying longer and giving him more play. So if you're a hosted player, I wouldn't worry at all about that third day playing a little bit, not at all. If you want to play. If you don't, you don't need to. If you're just a standard marketing offer, especially if we're talking about a local property where you just kind of come and go, then yeah, it does matter. Josh, the one thing I will mention is that some properties handle those extra days differently.
Yes.
There are a lot of properties we've heard that if you're staying 2 nights, they're hitting you with 3 gambling days. The day you arrive and the day you leave are both included on there. And there are some properties that just say 2 nights, 2 days if you don't play on the 3rd day. So the general consensus was always your 3rd day, don't play.
Right.
Just because it gave you a chance. But that's not always the case. But yeah, I mean, I don't usually play a small amount on a last day. If I'm not going to play, I don't play. But
right.
At the end of the day, if you're a hosted player, every dollar you give them, they appreciate.
And think of it, don't sacrifice playing just because you're worried about this. I mean, you're not there for chasing this great comp thing. And, we get caught up in the comp hustle game too and all that kind of stuff. But if you want to play for 45 minutes on your last day, play for 45 minutes and don't worry about it. It may or may not have an impact. But if you're talking about just, 5 minutes or something like that, maybe don't play rated, don't give them your card, that kind of thing. But if you're going to give any sort of little bit of play, significant little bit of play, I wouldn't worry about it too much.
Yeah. And Josh, this is coming from the person that's taken multiple 0 play trips or just swinging by and doing a buffet or whatever.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're the perfect example of somebody that has done that, has no played them. And it's not like your offers went down.
No.
If you have enough history with them,
right,
you're usually fine to overcome a $0 gambling day. They'll just write it off and pretend it didn't exist. If you've only been there 3 times and 2 of the times you 0 played them, well, that's a different story.
Yeah. Great question, though.
Absolutely. Final question of the week, Josh, from Matt. At the regular places like New York, Park, etc., do they do auto buy bets on the 4 and 10, or do I have to actually announce that specifically? Thanks.
Most every place that I know of, Chris, and see if you have a different opinion, and thanks for the question, Matt. Almost every place I can think of is auto buy if you're at the $20 level or higher.
Correct.
Nobody even asks. There's usually no button in Las Vegas that gets put on. Every once in a while, they put a lammer on the buy lammer, but it's rare that you see that these days. So it's almost always automatic if you're at the level where it makes sense.
You know who does use buy lammers, Josh?
Who?
Encore. It makes no sense, but they do.
And it's a pain.
I don't understand why. Win doesn't.
Right.
But Encore will put a buy lammer on
you and
every
your
buy.
Encore hate.
Yeah, I just don't understand why they do it. It just looks silly. They forget half the time. But yeah, Josh is right. Anything $20 or more, they're going to treat it as a buy. They're going to push it in the box. And if you start off on a $15 table and progress to 25 on a move after it hits, they'll automatically convert it. You don't need to say, make it a buy.
Right.
Yeah, you're good. They're going to pay it as a buy. And if for some reason they try to pay it as a place bet on a $20 or more, then I would push back and say, what are you doing? This is a buy bet.
Yeah.
So,
but it's auto almost everywhere.
Okay, so good questions this week. Thank you all for those. Josh, let's keep going. Patreon, that's patreon.com/crapvegas. Josh, what's new over there?
Well, we got a couple different things over there. We're doing our weekly show, The Fading Crap Vegas, which is Chris and I. We talked about it before. Doing 10 college football picks. Well, I guess it's 5 college football picks and 5 NFL picks against the spread. We know nothing about this. We're not the experts. You should probably fade us, but we have a lot of fun doing it. It's a fun show to listen to. I think we've gotten some really great feedback from the patrons. And then we did our episode 6 of Casino Confidential CVTV, which is Chris and I live commenting on an episode of Casino Confidential, which is a lot of fun to do. This one took a sad turn. This episode did.
It
It
was
dark-
very
it was
dramatic.
dark.
We didn't know what the outcome was going to be, and you'll have to watch to find out. But yeah, we're having a lot of fun over there with that. Josh, something else worth mentioning, our Survivor contest that we're having for all those cash prizes. We started off with 114 entries, and we're currently down to 10.
I think I was still alive going into this last week, and I'm pretty sure I forgot to submit a pick.
Everybody appreciates that. But the good news is you couldn't win
I
either
couldn't
way.
win the money
so
anyway.
I'm not paying you, so forget
So
it.
for fantasy football, we have a fantasy football league over on Patreon too. We can win the money if I win. So I'm trying to win the money.
I shelled out money. The only problem is one of my teams is 0-5 and the other one's 2-3 and not looking very good.
I'm 2-3 in both, I think. So I'm not great either.
When you have Anthony Richardson as your quarterback, he's
He's
not
9-1.
Year.
I've got Jaden Daniels in the other, so that's better. But anyway,
that's
enough
better
fantasy
pick, yeah.
football talk.
Yeah, absolutely. So big thank you to everybody that signed up over the past couple weeks. That's Anthony Q, Michelle A, Ryan T, and Mark L with a KCS membership. So thank you all for that. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much, guys.
Upcoming trips, Josh. F1 weekend. It's official. You and I will be in Vegas for F1, staying at Palazzo with tickets to the race.
We are super excited about that. I'm over the moon excited about that. Chris told me Chris has set this whole thing up. We're going to be sitting in the Sphere Amphitheater. Is that right? Or something like that?
Or in the Sphere grandstands.
That's what I meant. Not amphitheater, grandstand.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we want to go inside. We won't see much. Maybe
we're not going to see the race.
It's
just going to be on the screen. It's like, well, what's the big deal about that?
You know what we got to talk about still, Josh, though, before we get there, because this is only a month and a half away. We need to figure out there's a lot of big time concerts going on that weekend because it's such a big weekend.
That's true.
We need to decide if we want to go see some sort of concert or anything.
Yeah. Anyway, so Chris and I are going to be there for the race. Chris, you didn't mention I'll be there for Zorkfest. We'll actually be there before the race for Zorkfest, which is going to be a lot of fun. Of course, I'll be there my usual Friday through Sunday at Stay in Planet Hollywood. Zorkfest is at the Horseshoe, so I'll be around there, and then migrating over to Venetian.
Yep, that will be a lot of fun. So if you are going to that, or if you want to go to that and you haven't got on that yet, don't forget travelzork.com/Zorkfest to get your tickets to that. So you can be with Vegas Duffy for the weekend. What else could you ask for?
Who wouldn't want that? And I'll be playing lots of Huff and Puff mansions, assuming they have it at Caesars Properties. I don't know.
They probably can't afford to buy it. You know, that's how it goes. A friendly reminder to subscribe and leave a review on your favorite podcasting app and to visit our merch store at crapvegas.com/shop. I always like seeing those positive reviews, and we're getting a lot of people still reviewing the show, Josh, but they don't actually leave comments. They just give us a star rating. So
leave some comments.
Leave a nice comment so that we can be in a good mood. That makes us all happy.
And all that stuff helps the algorithms and things. So more people find the show, which is great. Yeah. Algorithms.
Yeah. Parabolas and parallelograms and all those things. Yeah. You know.
It's geometry.
Okay. Yeah, Josh. Okay, so I guess it's time. Let's hit it, Josh. Where's the wheel?
All right, let's give it a spin.
It's time to spin the Crap Vegas Big Wheel. Are you ready? Josh, spin the wheel.
Oh, it's spinning. How many things are on the wheel, Josh?
8.
8 things on the wheel.
But we're only going to spin it twice, though.
Okay.
There's 8 possibilities on the wheel.
Interesting.
Some come up more often than others.
It's amazing that you spin it at the exact same speed and it stops at the exact same time every time.
That way.
You are very good at this. Did you work for a carnival beforehand?
All right, Chris, let's play 7 Degrees. No.
No. Oh, God, no. Thank you all for listening. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
All right, Chris, what does something have in common? What does a 1977 Schwinn Junior Red Stingray bicycle, an It's 5 o'clock somewhere neon sign, a 1982 DeLorean, and a 2021 Jeep Gladiator 6x6 truck, I threw that in just for Trey, have in common?
The only thing I can think of is that they're all in some sort of museum or space together. You're right along. I have no idea what it is.
You're on the same track. So October 17th through 19th at the 19th at the convention center at the Las Vegas Convention Center. It's the Meekum. I think it's Meekum. Might be Meechum, but it's just CUM. Meekum Collector Car Auction.
Oh, how exciting! And there's going to be a Schwinn bicycle there, huh?
That's why I thought it was interesting. A 1977 Schwinn Junior Red Stingray bicycle. They've got neon signs, and it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Neon sign that they're auctioning off. They got all sorts of things in addition to cars. There's all sorts of, I'm not a super car guy. I don't know that you are either, but
no, definitely
not. I think it would be fun to go to one of those auctions sometime.
I'm in the process of potentially buying a new car soon.
Oh,
but I'm not a super big car guy.
Just going to go to this auction and you can have a really cool, you can get yourself
I don't think they sell what
1976 Mercedes SLC.
Yeah, I got to get the new car, Josh, so I can get it wrapped with Craft Vegas stuff all over it and drive around town. My kids would love that.
That's so awesome.
That would be cool.
Can you get a Craft Vegas license plate? Might be able to do that.
I don't know if the state would approve it. They're kind of specific about what you can and can't use on custom license plates.
So do you find, Chris, as you're talking about this, are you more of a car guy or a truck guy?
Oh, I'm a car guy. I will not have a truck. I think trucks are stupid. All of our listeners that are truck guy, I hate you all.
Sorry, I love you all. So how do you feel about SUVs? Does that fit into the truck category?
I don't currently drive an SUV, but actually my next car I'm looking at would be an SUV again. I need more space.
See,
I got too many kids and too many friends.
I think that counts as a truck.
No, SUVs aren't trucks. What are you talking about?
I guess it depends. Is it body on frame or not? Do you even know what that means?
don't even know what that means, but if it has a truck bed, it's a truck. If it's just a large vehicle, it's an SUV.
So, when I say, are you a car guy or a truck guy, I'm lumping SUVs into the truck side, even though I think a lot of those crossovers are not really trucks, but I'm thinking
fair
more.
enough.
The way I look at it is would you rather go fast or drive over things? How about that?
Yeah, I usually have a tendency to go with the go fast, but that's also why I drive a Tesla. Because even if I had a Tesla SUV, I'm still a shit ton faster than all of you. So get out of my way.
See, I like to be able to drive over things. Whatever it is, a curb, person, tree,
Remind
whatever.
me when we're off the air, Josh, to tell you what my next car is going to be, because you would be really excited.
There we go. Are you getting what are they called? Are you getting a Grenadier?
I am not.
Oh, okay. I want a Grenadier.
Okay, fair enough.
We've veered way off here. Was that the wheel? That was the wheel. Okay.
that was something. Is there anything else on there? Do you want to spin one more time?
Let's spin one more.
What about if it comes up on the same thing? Do we just end the episode?
That might be good. That'd be better. Oh, Chris, this one on the little pie piece, it says location, location, location.
Okay.
So they came out with, I think it's Restaurant Business, which is a trade publication on restaurants, ranked the 100 most profitable, highest grossing independent restaurants in the United States.
Okay.
And there were a number of Vegas restaurants on there. Any idea, any guess, I know it's hard to guess off the cuff, but any guess what independent restaurants, I mean, not a franchise, I think is what that means, in Las Vegas was the highest grossing in 2023?
Okay, so they can still be part of a restaurant group.
Right, I think.
But they can't be like a national chain?
That's what I would gather. I don't actually know what independent restaurant means.
I mean, so are we considering
I would say not like
to be an independent restaurant?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, was it on the list?
No, but you are actually, and I won't even make you guess any further, it's Alexa right next door at Paris.
Next door.
Yeah.
And the Hex Bar and all that right there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They brought in $28.8 million in 2023, served 600,000 meals.
It's not good, by the way. I've been
I don't
there.
actually know if I've been there.
You're paying for location.
Right.
And for the people that get really pissy about this sort of thing, they're one of the first restaurants to start charging C&F charges.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
So that
I have
was,
been there now that you mentioned it.
Yeah. People
But
don't
anyway,
like
that's
that
the
about
highest
them, but
grossing independent restaurant in Vegas in last year.
It doesn't surprise me at all, honestly. That's why I kind of picked Mon Ami Gabi, because you said location.
Yeah.
And that restaurant, even though it too it's good, but it's not great.
Right.
But it's all about the location there overlooking the fountains.
A couple others just that I thought I'd mention for fun. The top of the world at the Strat came in number 17 on the top 100. Bazaar Meat was at 31. Delmonico, our favorite at Venetian, was in the 57. And Chica at Venetian was 79. A few other Vegas restaurants on the list.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, okay, I assume that wraps up the wheel, Josh. So you got anything else before we get out of here?
I got two other little things. First of all,
holy shit, you are loaded with things this week.
They're not the weel.
No, not the wheel. The wheel didn't have much.
To kind of be serious for just a second, we did mention the hurricane Helene that impacted Chris's area everybody knows. Our thoughts are with the people that are still struggling with that. And really, as this episode releases, or maybe after it just did, the hurricane, is it Milton, the one that's bearing down and on towards the Tampa area in Florida? So hope everybody's okay with that too. Just let us, just wanted to say that we're thinking about you. And changing gears completely, I will also be on an upcoming episode. Chris doesn't even know this yet, of the It's Vegas Y'all podcast. I've been asked to be a little guest participant in that. So I'll let you know more when that happens, but I'm excited about that.
I'm happy to hear that for you, Josh. Well, thank you all for listening this week. We had a lot of fun. Maybe you'll see me in Vegas this weekend. You never know. I'm just kind of in and out there.
You won't see me there.
Josh will not be there. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun either way, Josh. I'm looking forward to the weekend. Hope everybody has a great week, though. Enjoy the show, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Vegas, here we come.
Thanks for listening to the Crap Vegas podcast.
Have you ever been to Vegas?
Check out all our recent news and our Vegas trip calendar by visiting crapvegas.com.
See you in Vegas.
So, Chris, did you see the news today? This didn't make the wheel, I don't think. I mean, we never know what's going to be on the wheel, but I don't think this made the wheel.
You
did
never
you see
know where
there's
it's gonna
an
stop
announcement
spinning.
of the new In-N-Out burger?
Where?
It's going to be where the Hawaiian Marketplace was. The Boulevard.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting.
Have you been to In-N-Out before?
Yeah, I've been there a couple times. And we also just got a Jack in the Box. We got one in
Oh,
Louisville.
look at
finally.
you.
So, I mean, we're really stepping it up in the world. My
know
kids are
that-
really excited to go try the tacos.
Do you know the story about the changing of the name of Jack in the Box?
No, I do not.
So when I was growing up, I think they may have started in the Pacific Northwest. At least that's what my memory is. I'm just doing this from memory, so it could be all wrong. But assuming they started in the Pacific Northwest, they had some sort of, it wasn't E. coli, it was probably salmonella. They had a salmonella outbreak that was really bad. They changed the name of the franchise, of the restaurant, to Monterey Jack's. For a
interesting.
long period of time because they had such bad publicity about it, this salmonella thing, assuming that's what it was. And then finally they changed it back to Jack in the Box. So there's a little Jack in the Box history for you. Just off
perfect.
the cuff. Yeah.
Only for our KCS patrons do you get this kind of info.
Oh, wait, that
Nowhere
wasn't
else
on the
will you
main
find
show?
it. Okay,
I
you
thought
ready
that
to get
was on
this
the
thing
main
going,
show.
Josh? No,
Well, I was going to
it's not
mention
the main
In-N-Out
show.
Burger as my opening thing on the main show. Now I got
we haven't
nothing.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 65 of the Crap Vegas podcast. I am Chris. He's Josh. Josh, what's going on? Nothing, because In-N-Out Burger, he doesn't have a comment about it anymore.
Chris, did you hear they're opening In-N-Out Burger on there?
Computer, how many entries are there for Darmok?
47.